Hi, good afternoon. Um, well, let's study the Bible together. Today we're going to study from book of Ezekiel. The Ezekiel, he's one of very well-known prophet, and he lived about 600 BC before Christ, and the time he wrote the book of Ezekiel, he was about 30 years old. He was a young priest. Now, probably one of the most noticeable achievement of Ezekiel is he prophesies about destructions of Jerusalem. He indicate that the Israel, the capital of the Judah at that time, will be destroyed, and Jerusalem will be destroyed. But you have to think about that Jerusalem is a very, important city, because that's where the temple of God is actually was there, and so just everyone, especially the Jewish people, they thought that city will never be destroyed because that city was way too important for God. However, the Jerusalem has been destroyed. Now let me read from Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 1. Let me read from the Bible, Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 1. If you have a Bible, would you please open and read with me? Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 1. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, this is what the sovereign Lord said to the land of Israel. The end has come upon the four corners of the land, and the end is now upon you, and I will unleash my anger against you. I will judge you according to your conduct and repay you for all your detestable practice. I will not look on you with pity. I will not spare you. I will surely repay you for your conduct and for the detestable practice among you. Then you will know that I am the Lord. This is what sovereign Lord said. Disaster, unleash of disaster. See, it comes. The end has come. The end has come. It has rose itself against you. See it come. Now, here is very interesting. The Ezekiel proclaimed that the end come. He was actually telling the people in Jerusalem and Israel that here comes the end. Now, the questions are that why God has destroyed the Jerusalem. Now, book of Ezekiel also reveal the reason why God destroys their city, and that is in chapter 16. So I know you are in 7 and Ezekiel, but would you open to 16? So just maybe several pages pass, and let me read from Ezekiel chapter 16, start from verse 1, and that's what here we can see the reason that why God destroyed or allowed Jerusalem to be destroyed. Let me read this. Ezekiel chapter 16. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, confront Jerusalem with her detestable practice, and said, this is what the sovereign Lord said to Jerusalem. Your ancestry and birth are in the land of Canaanite. Your father was Amorite, and your mother a Hittite. On the day you were born, your coat was not cut, nor were you washed with water to make you clean, nor were you rubbed with salt or wrapped in cloth. No one looked on you with pity or had compassion enough to do any of these things for you. Rather, you are thrown out into open field, for on the day you are born, you are despised. Then I passed by and saw you, excuse me. Then I passed by and saw you kicking about in your blood, and as you lay there in your blood, I said to you, live. Now, this is very interesting statement here in Ezekiel chapter 6, verse 1 to 6. I just read. God apparently said that kind of treat the Jerusalem as like a newborn baby, but it's almost like he's kind of telling that this was unwanted baby, that he was actually abandoned, and she was actually abandoned, and this baby was actually, well, in verse 6 said it was kicking in his in your blood, and that's kind of amazing. That's kind of picture of like a baby, like did like a aborted, like abortion kind of baby. Well, kind of grotesque, but that's how God tell Jerusalem that you're unwanted baby. Now let me read after that from verse 7. I made you grow like a plant of the field. You grew and developed and entered puberty. Your breast had formed and your hair had grown, yet you are stark naked. Later I passed by, and then I looked at you and saw that you are old enough for love. I spread the corner of my garment over you and covered your naked body. I gave you my solemn oath and entered into a covenant with you, declared the sovereign Lord, and you became mine. Well, it's very interesting that apparently God said that this Jerusalem, she kind of grew up from being a girl to kind of grow up and become old enough to love. And the verse 8 here, God said, later I passed by, and when I looked at you and saw that you are old enough for love, I spread the corner of my garment over you and cover your naked body. I gave you my solemn oath and entered into a covenant with you. That's what the God said. It sounds like God indicating he married to the Jerusalem, and he said, and you became mine. So here, the God saying that the city of Jerusalem is actually portrayed as a female or a baby girl, unwanted baby girl, almost could have been died, but he raised her, and she grew up, and she became beautiful. She became a woman, and then he married her. And so let me read after this what happened. Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 9. I bathed you with water and washed the blood from you and put ointment on you. I clothed you with embroidered dress and put sandal of fine leather on you. I dressed you in fine linen and cover you with costly garment. I adorn you with jewelry. I put bracelet on your arm and the necklace around your neck. And I put a ring on your nose, earrings on your ears, and a beautiful crown on your head. So you are adorned with gold and silver. Your clothes were of fine linen and costly fabric and embroidered cloth. Your food was honey, olive oil, and the finest flour. You became very beautiful and rose to be a queen. And your fame spread among the nations on account of your beauty, because the splendor I had given you made your beauty perfect, declared the sovereign Lord. Now here, God said he as a husband, he was saying he dressed Israel, he gave beautiful dress and all the jewelries, and the Jerusalem become very, very beautiful woman. She became very beautiful wife of that for God, and that's what God said. The Jerusalem became beautiful wife, and but what happened after this? Let me read Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 15. But you trusted in your beauty and used your fame to become a prostitute. Huh? You lavished your favor on anyone who passed by, and your beauty became his. You took some of your garments to make gaudy high place, where you carried on your prostitution. You went to him, and he possessed your beauty. You also took the fine jewelry I gave you, the jewelry made of my gold and silver. You made it for yourself male idol and engaged in prostitution with them. And you took your embroidered cloth to put on them, and you offered my oil and incense before them. Also, the food I provided for you, the flour, olive oil, and honey I gave you to eat, you offer as fragrant incense before them. That is what happened, declared the sovereign Lord. Now here, it's kind of amazing that God said, Jerusalem, after she became beautiful wife of God, and apparently God as a good husband take care of her and dress her, and she become very beautiful, but yet she was not faithful wife. She apparently started to do the adultery and went for another gods. So this was really one major sin. There's a reason that Jerusalem will be destroyed and come to end, because of actually Jerusalem is broke that marriage off. But that's not only what happened to Jerusalem. Let me read after this from verse 20. And you took your sons and daughters whom you born to me, and sacrificed them as food to the idol. What? Was your prostitution not enough? You slanders my children and sacrifice them to the idols. In all your detestable practice and your prostitution, you did not remember the days of your youth, when you were naked and bare, kicking about in your blood. Woe, woe to you, declared the sovereign Lord, in addition to all your other wickedness. Here in the verse 20, it indicates that they sacrifice children. Actually, God said, these are my kids, my children that you are born, but they actually killed these babies and sacrificed the idol. What happened was the land of Canaan, before the Israel people came to the Canaan, there was people and the Canaanites lived there, and it was their practice that they actually killed their baby and they burned their baby and offer or sacrifice to their idol. And God got very upset, and because of their doing it, God told Israel to totally wipe out the Canaanite. Their sin is way too great to kill the baby. From God's viewpoint, that kill the baby is a very detestable sin, because we are made in image of God, but yet the baby Canaanite was killing. Now the Israel, they kind of carried on, or they kind of copied the Canaanite practice. So what they are doing, what they did was they not only worship other gods, but they also start to kill their baby and burned baby and then offer to the idol. That sounds kind of very grotesque, but that's kind of made God absolutely upset. Now, their sin, it didn't end even this. They did even more. The time the Canaanite was conquered by Israel, there's another city. Before that, God also judged the Canaanite city called Sodom and Gomorrah long time ago, the time of Abraham. And the major reason for Sodom and Gomorrah was that both cities was they're not really righteous about their sexual immorality. That's the reason. and at the same time they are Canaanites, so they killed many babies, and especially after they had sexual immorality. Due to sexual immorality, they had many unwanted baby, and what they did was they simply killed it, and that was the Sodom, and that's the exact reason that God destroyed the Sodom and Gomorrah, and that was actually supposed to be the testimony for Israel people, or like example and or warning. However, Israel they didn't really learn from that, and but Sodom also had more issue. Here's let me read Ezekiel chapter 16, but I'm going to skip to the 48 and 50. Let me read. I know I read until the verse 23, but let's go to the verse 48. Verse 48 in chapter 16 Ezekiel. As surely as I live, declares the sovereign Lord, your sister Sodom and her daughters never did what you and your daughter had done. Now, this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She and her daughter were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. What they are unconcerned? They did not help the poor and needy. Well, here, they did not help poor and needy. They were haughty and did detestable things before me. Therefore, I did away with them, as you have seen. Here, the God said that the Sodom, not only their sexual immorality and killing baby, and the not trusting God or worshiping another God, they actually didn't care about their poor and needy. For Sodom, they're just saying, "Oh, those poor people are just a loser, and we don't care," or something like that. So that also made God very upset. But God said that Jerusalem, that's exactly what they're doing too. The reason God destroyed Jerusalem is, first of all, they don't care about God. That God is their husband, supposed to be, but in a daily life, they don't care about God. They even probably thought that God doesn't exist. And the second thing they did was they killed the babies, a bunch of them. And not only that, they didn't take care of their poor people. Now, how about our life? Now, when we look at our society, first of all, I do see lots of people think there's no God. We have a mighty God does exist, but people doesn't realize, doesn't care if a God exists or not. And maybe even Christian, the only time they think about God and sing Him is time they go to church. But as soon as they go outside the church, many people, even Christian, they don't care about God. God is not even part of their life. They actually worship other than God, such as money or like fame, or like how to become successful or rich, or how to be successful at the company and so on. And people really pay so much attention and energy to how to win the society, but they didn't care about God Himself. And that's adultery, actually, from God's viewpoint. Even Christians seems doing it. And the second thing is, do you know how many baby actually the country like Japan killed every year? I mean, in the abortion in Japan, I checked, about 200,000 baby every year. But now you have to understand that Japan only has 1 million baby born every year. Out of only 1 million they're born, and then they are worried about they're losing their population. But yet, at the same time, Japan is killing about 200,000 baby every year, but this number has decreased. Just only 10-15 years ago, Japan killed almost like 500,000 baby every year, and that's where Japan was. Now, the United States of America, the U.S. cannot laugh at Japan. I understand the U.S. has about 2 to 3 times more population than Japan, but United States of America right now killed about 700,000 babies every year. And that's amazing. And now, then maybe some people say, hey, just wait a minute. There may be those do the abortion had a reason and something to do for mothers because of physical protection for the mother's body, or maybe some cases of rape and so on. But then when I checked the record, the rape or like a mother's physical body issue is only 1% out of that, which means more than 90% is basically simply unwanted baby that being aborted, mostly due to the sexual immorality outside of a marriage. Outside of marriage, the people had the babies and they just can't have baby because they're married to someone, so they simply kill baby. The many cases also the sex industry does exist, and due to the sexual activity on this the prostitution industries, they just simply kill baby. Now, how God view this, I wonder. And also, country like Japan or U.S., do we care the poor people? When I was in Chicago and I went to work and every day and then drove the highway and get off from the lamp at the highway exit, and then stop at the red light, and just about every exit I get off at Chicago, there is a homeless people walk up to me, and then they're asking for money, and some of them even said that they went to like Iraq wars and stuff, and we're in the U.S. uniform, and they're asking for money, and they're a bunch of homeless people, and they live under the bridge. This is not only U.S. but Japan too. There are lots of poor people, but people seems not really care much. Soon as you cannot pay mortgage, hey, soon as you kicked out from your house, you end up in under the bridge. And that's exactly how our society is. Rich people have a very lavish life, yet at the same time, right behind their house wall, there's a poor people on the street. But they didn't care. Now that sounds like what God said about Sodom that time. Bible clearly indicate that our sin, eventually God have to judge us, and clearly Bible indicate there will be the end time for our generation is there. Now, why the Sodom and Gomorrah and all the Old Testament things happens is if you read 1 Corinthians chapter 10, 11 in the New Testament. Let me read this. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, 11 said, "These things happened to them as examples and were written down as warning for us, on whom the culmination of the ages has come." Whom the culmination of the ages has come. Now, which means our generation, face the end time, and all that things happens in the Old Testament and Sodom and Gomorrah, or like all the judged in Jerusalem. All that was example and a warning to us, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, 11. And let me give you exactly how God told us the world end. Even though we commit so much sin and detestable things, God gave warning to the Israel people through the prophet, such as Ezekiel, and tell them, this is the warning. The end will come. You come back to me. You come back to me. That's what the God keep telling us through the Bible. Even now, He does same. He said, "Come back to me. Come back to me." The end time is clearly will come, but then we just simply ignore. Let me read Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. This is the end time God predict in the book of Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. I watched as he opened the sixth seal. There was a great earthquake. The sun turned black like sackcloth made of goat hair. The whole moon turned blood red, and the stars in the sky fell on earth as fig drops from the fig trees, when shaken by a strong wind. The heaven receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. And then the king of the earth, the princes, the general, the rich and mighty, and everyone else, both slave and free, hide in the cave and among the rocks of the mountains. They call to the mountain and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of their wrath has come, and who can withstand it? Now here, the Revelation chapter 6, verse 13 indicate, and the star in the sky fell to the earth as a fig drops. Do you know what the fig looks like? And it says that eventually the star in the sky will fall on earth. What that mean? The star in the sky will fall on earth. And apparently it said, the verse 12 said, there was a great earthquake. Now this great earthquake must be a humongous earthquake. That's something we have never even experienced in the past. Probably all those high-rise buildings and big cities in throughout the world, so that we humans look at our city with the high-rise, we say, oh, what a humongous achievement that we made. But all the high-powered many buildings probably will collapse due to this humongous earthquake caused by the star drop out, fell from the fell to the earth, and then the sun turned black like a sackcloth, probably because of the dust and the smoke, and also the moon turned into blood red. And verse 14, the heaven receded like a scroll being rolled up. So probably like a sky there would be like a blue sky, but all that crowd just like a scroll going around, and all that covered the entire earth maybe, and so on. And all those kings and princes, prince and generals. So these like soldiers and like leaders of the world, and also the rich and poor, and the lots people are going to hide in looks like a shelter in the mountains, and they will just say that the end came. Now apparently this kind of prediction is written in the Revelation. Clearly it indicates that we're going to face such as the star fall from the sky and destroyed, and after that the end time is imminent. Yet this warning of the end time we seem still ignoring. Our world keeps telling us there's no God. We don't worry about God. And not only that, at the same time, we commit our sin by killing so much baby, and we don't even talk about it. And not only that, we don't care about poor people. Are we? I mean, there's so many homeless. But all this make God very, very furious, upset. Because of this kind of a sin and the evil things going on, eventually God going to judge us, but he really didn't want to destroy us. So what God did was he became a man, and instead of us being punished, he took all our sin on the cross, and he actually took all our sin upon the cross, and instead of us dying, he went to cross dying. And if we believe Jesus, who are true God, became a man and died for us because he loved us so much, if we believe that and accept that, that's the only criteria we have. If we did that, then God said you're going to have an eternal life. You don't have to go through the destruction. We're going to live. Lots of people still not accepting this invitation. If you are watching this video, please accept right now before too late. And also, if you're a Christian, please understand that Israel people in the Jerusalem, one point in time, they were godly people. However, they start to not think about God. They start to not worship their God. They start to worship something else. They start to trust some other gods. But Christians, if you became a Christian but not trusting God, instead you depend on like money or wealth or like job security or how to be promoted, you won't have a peace. And not only that, that's really called adultery. We have to put God first in our life, and so on. So today's message, I like to pray now that it's a reminder us that God clearly tells us there will be the end of our world and will be judgment. However, God also loves us so much, He died for us. And if we accept Him, and that's only criteria we have to be saved. And so please do. Shall we pray? Lord, thank you for this opportunity that you use me to talk your word to people. And you clearly indicate that in the Bible there will be end time, and you give us a warning through the prophet, and from this Bible you give us such a warning. Yet we continue our sin, and we don't care about you. We killed baby, and there's so many poor and homeless, but our society is so cold and no love there. Lord, please forgive us. And if there's a people searching for salvation, please give them, and please let them realize that you're the mighty God, died on the cross so that we don't have to die. Lord, thank you for this opportunity. Hope that there will be a people open their eyes and understand you're the only true God, and you're the only the way to be saved. Jesus, we pray. Amen. Okay, have a nice day. Bye.